Hello everyone. So, the definition of what makes a series overrated. This is the professional version of that topic. So, everyone literally thinks everything is considered overrated. I've done it, you've done it, but what is the real reason why that happens? Like I said earlier, that as being a person, a human being, we see things differently, we talk differently, we hear things differently, whatever, it's part of being human. And when we see media, movies, TV shows, or whatever the hell, when someone finds value into something, they love it and they praise it. But when you go and watch something, and if you don't see the value of it, you feel like it's overrated just because you didn't have that same experience. Now then, some of you suggest to me that it's a fan-base problem. Some of you brought to me the attention that the big three is considered overrated because of the impact that it had in our generation back in the day and today's generation. All of 2021, all I have been hearing a lot is nostalgia. The nostalgia argument has been really annoying the hell out of me because apparently when there's something new around, like when something is new popping around, with the anime community, like My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, the new generation anime, a lot of people are saying, Bleach is only good for nostalgia, Naruto, and the One Piece community, they think everyone should experience that shit. But we'll get to One Piece. But apparently, we're living in an era where if your series hit the 15 to 20 year mark, it's considered only good for nostalgia. But I kind of feel like the reason why people are doing the nostalgia argument more than they should is because they know for a fact when you say something is only good for nostalgia, you're saying that it's old and it has no value, and you have to accept that today's anime is where it's all at. But what if you go watch some of these new generation anime and you don't care about the characters, you don't care about the story, and something about what the impact of the last generation did, it has not touched or has not given that same impact compared to today. Now, I think, sometimes, you can be blinded by nostalgia. But I'm the kind of person that feels like, anything can hold up if the creator wrote their formula, their story in a way where anyone can get behind the character writing or its storytelling in any generation. Like, the best kind of things that hold up is when the creator writes things that anyone can get something out of it years and years and years after, It's the writing that matters that can hold up. It's not about the animation, it's not about how the fights look or not. Some people feel like some things don't hold up just because of the animation value. But what if the animation doesn't hold up, but the story holds up? There's all kinds of ways how things can hold up and not hold up. But the way that we look at things today, it's just, the nostalgia argument needs to stop. Like, you can, if you literally feel for, the characters from the older generation of shonen or whatever you can call it, any kind of anime. It's not about how old something is. If you feel like your heart feels more connected to the older animes compared to the new generation animes because you feel like there's just something that they're lacking, that's an understandable argument. Who cares if something is 15 and 20 years old? If you can still get something new out of it, or you can still learn something from the character writing from 20 years ago, well, yeah, maybe it does hold up. But people who like the old stuff rather than the new stuff, people hate that. Like, people just want the new anime to succeed just because, well, they're new with updated animation and times are changing. We have to accept how things are. Like, a lot of people are always stuck in the past. Well, for good reason. Sometimes people feel like storytelling's peaked, in the last generation of anime. And the newer stuff is kind of more of an iffy subject. Like, it really depends on perspective. Some people like stuff because it's new, just for the sake of being new, and some people like the old stuff just because it's older, and it's not because it's older. They just feel like that's where storytelling, meant something back in the day. You know how people say, I wish they made things how they used to back then? So it could either be nostalgia, or it's the fact that you don't want things to change, or the fact that you generally feel like the last generation of anime had better storytelling compared to today. The new generation fans and the old generation fans are always going to butt heads and fight. Like I said, they want new shit to praised to be praised because it's new, and people want old stuff to be praised more because it's older and it's a classic. And some things, it's really your decision to decide do things hold up or not hold up. There's always different kinds of holding up. Like I mentioned, animation or storytelling. Or if you really feel like the character writing was stronger back then, that's a good argument. But the problem is, how do you convince the new generation fans of anime where, they're kind of lacking in something? But some people don't see that. So when it comes to the big three, again, it's really hard to talk about One Piece because people praise One Piece every single year. I feel like, maybe you don't connect like with the Naruto characters. Like Naruto, I love Naruto, but that is me. I could recommend someone to watch Naruto, right? But do I expect you to love it as much as me? No. I should be prepared that you may hate the characters. You may not agree with the storytelling. But when it comes to the One Piece fans, they kind of feel like, it's a show everyone should experience. Everyone should get into it. And you're going to love it. But that's the problem. You're talking it when you tell someone to watch a show, and if you're praising it with the passion and the support that you love it, remember, they're not you. You are you. You've had years to go back and rewatch and analyze and love the characters and the storytelling from your perspective. But when you recommend it to someone else, you cannot expect them to love it as much as you. I've been a fan of Naruto for over 15 years. If I recommend you the show, I should be prepared of you disliking it rather than love it as long as I have, because I had years to go back to it and analyze it and understand what I missed and what I didn't miss and love it even more. When you watch Naruto for the first time, you may hate the damn thing and never want to touch it again. And that's the problem of trying to tell someone to watch a certain series because you're praising it so much. And then when you go and watch it, they'll think it's overrated because what if they didn't feel like they didn't like anything about it? What if they didn't like the main character? What if they didn't like the side characters? What if they didn't feel like the storytelling was as good as what you were hyping it up to be? Remember, when you recommend someone a show, don't put it in a way that you've had like this 10-year experience. Recommend them a show in a way like you may like it. There's some good parts here. It gets really good here. I just want to give you a heads up on some negatives. Always sell your show as a way to be prepared for someone to dislike it, or they may not even agree with anything. Now, and that's the problem. I think what makes a show overrated sometimes is the way that we try to tell someone to consume the show that we've had years to watch. While when they get into it, when they just start watching it, it's going to be a completely different perspective growing up with the show versus some binge watching it for 10 months. People who watch some of the big three, or we're just going to focus on Bleach and Naruto. When people watch Bleach and Naruto today, they feel like it's overrated, and people feel like it's only good for nostalgia because they just got into it, right? From people from the last generation who've had many times to analyze the show, rewatch it, and look at its flaws, look at its negatives. And people, like I said earlier, we love the last generation anime because maybe we just personally connect with the characters and the storytelling compared to today's anime. And when you see people praise the big three, or like I said, just focusing on Bleach and Naruto, there's value into why we keep going back to those shows, because we see the character writing better than everyone else. Like, I've admitted many times, I've always been a fan of Bleach, right? But the character writing in Bleach is something that I never understood why everyone liked as much. But after taking some time to rewatch the show and really taking the time to understand why people love the characters of Bleach as much as they do, I start to understand more and get closer and closer to see the value why people love the character writing more than Naruto or even One Piece or whatever. Because just because I don't see the value, or I couldn't see the value in a lot of characters in Bleach, it does not mean the character writing is overrated or Bleach is overrated. It just means I don't connect with characters driven by personality rather than actual deep backstories and ideologies that are strong. And the character writing going further and further. Bleach to me was a series where I feel like Kubo character writing wasn't his strong suit. And instead of me saying Bleach is overrated because of its characters, to me that would be a negative, because clearly people love the characters in Bleach more than the others in Shonen or in Naruto or whatever, because they saw something in Bleach that I didn't. So it's not right for me to say Bleach is overrated just because its character writing didn't please me or it didn't give me everything I want. I have to just accept that Bleach's character writing is something that I'm not going to get, because since I love Naruto character writing so much, Naruto is the real reason why I love other series of character writing, like Black Lagoon and Violet Evergarden, that I can really feel for its characters and really, understand their ideologies and, stuff like that. Maybe Bleach wasn't one of the shows where it was giving me what I wanted, and I really wanted it to be something that it's never going to be, and that becomes the problem, is when you can still find the value of something that people love. Even if it didn't please you, even if it did not give you what you wanted, you can still see why everyone else loved it and why everyone connected with it. Just because you didn't have that experience, it doesn't mean you should have the right to rant about it on YouTube because it's overrated for this reason. It's like, dude, you can accept that people love it and they saw value in it that you didn't, and you can move on with your life. Because, as you guys know, I've done that with Boruto. I still, to this day, can't find any value in Boruto. I can't find any reason to really comprehend why everyone loves it. And that's a problem I have to live with the rest of my life, because Boruto's been around for about 5 years now, and I still just cannot see the value why everyone loves it. But I have to accept people found something in Boruto that I just cannot. So it's not that I think Boruto is overrated. Boruto, to me, is a show that just, I don't really have an opinion. I just have to accept that it exists, and I'd rather it not exist, but it's just there. People see value in something that I don't like. And I may never understand why people love Boruto as much as they do, because I never saw the value. But clearly, that's just, how human beings are built. We can't see what we're supposed to see. So instead of me saying Boruto's overrated because I didn't see the value in it, I'm just going to say, you know what? It's just not for me. I'll criticize it. I'll say what I don't like about it. I'll do that instead of saying Boruto's overrated, rant video for 15 minutes. No, I just have to accept that's just how things are. I can't see the value in Boruto, but clearly you can, and we just have to go. We just have to move on from there, going forward. And like you guys said in that first video, it's also the fan base's problem that makes the show overrated, making us believe it's this superior, show that we may love over other shows, and when we go and watch it, we get disappointed. Like I was mentioning in the first video, that everyone praised a lot of Hunter x Hunter for a long time to me, and when I watched it, I realized, this show is not a show built to be emotionally invested with the characters or personally, to get to really, really know them. Hunter x Hunter to me was a show where it's very clever. It's very planned out. People say it's the best power system battle shonen. It has a lot of complex writing in it. It makes it seem like it's superior than other shonen writing because it's just how well written, complex it is. And you know what? I'm like, I can respect the clever writing of what made Hunter x Hunter for what it is. But at the end of the day, for any series, I don't care about clever writing. I don't care about world building. I don't care about building up shit. If you cannot sell me on your characters to be really connected with them, then that's just me as a person. So instead of saying Hunter x Hunter is overrated, I can respect that it has very much value in it, and people are clearly seeing things in it that I can't. But at the same time, it's just Hunter x Hunter to me. It's not a show that I'm just built for that universe, because it's not giving me what I want. And the more I rewatch it, it's just the same material of something that I'm just not gonna get. So it's either respect the legacy, respect the fan base. If people say it's the best written shonen of all time, I can give that respect. But just because it is the best shonen written of all time, like One Piece, like people say about One Piece, you can't automatically make me love a show just because it's amazing, well written. Now, hurry up to One Piece real quick. Oda is great at building up things, mentioning characters that will come into the story 20 chapters away or 100 episodes later. He keeps everything built up. He keeps everything there, teasing things that will have a payoff later. And he's very great at world building. He's very great at planning his way out. And One Piece is known to be a show that goes for 23 years at this point, right? And Oda has been consistent ever since the first chapter. I can respect that legacy. But One Piece's character writing is the only thing I care about. I don't care about world building. I don't care about building up shit. I don't care about foreshadowing hidden characters. You have to make me feel for the characters besides their backstory. The backstory of feeling for a character is step one. But what about the material that comes after? And that's when the One Piece writing to me, it doesn't appeal to me. After a while, I don't care about the adventures. I don't care about learning more about the universe of One Piece, because I really do believe Oda knows if he focuses more on his main characters than the actual world building, you can't explore the world, because the main focus is on the characters more than the actual world, and that would become an issue. Same thing with Kishimoto. People claim that Kishimoto had shit world building, but the thing is, Kishimoto, if he focused more on his ninja world building rather than his character writing, so what would you rather have? Naruto focus more on world building or focusing on the build up for Sasuke versus Itachi with storytelling that came with it, the build up with Naruto versus Sasuke, storytelling that came with it before the fight, or instead of having the amazing things that made those fights amazing or the amazing things that made Naruto well written with its character writing, would you rather not have that than, going on ninja missions? Because we talked about how Kishimoto should have explored his ninja system, his ninja society. And people feel like Naruto is overrated just because it didn't have a great world building, because there was nothing else to explore. People talk about how Naruto's surrounded by forests and trees and it's fucking boring, but like that's the thing. You're going with very high expectations about Naruto. It's character driven, it's not world building driven. So if Kishimoto focused more on world building than his character writing, the amazing things that we love about Naruto probably would never existed because he was too busy focusing on ninja world building than ninja character writing. It's really hard to balance both. So the way that I look at it is that I love Naruto because I am me. If you were not hooked on Heavy Sasuke's character when he fought Itachi, then you're not really going to give a shit about Itachi versus Sasuke. Because if you were up to that point not invested in Sasuke's character to that point, then you're just watching the fight for the sake of watching the fight. Because you can't root for Itachi, he's the evil guy. And if you don't give a shit about Heavy Sasuke, avenging his clan and restoring his clan, then maybe Naruto is not meant for you. Instead of saying Naruto is overrated, even though it's known for its character writing, if the characters in Naruto do not appeal to you, then it's okay to move on. But you can still see the value as to why everyone loves Naruto. Because it's relatable with its characters. Its ideology with its characters. And if character writing in Naruto does not appeal to you, instead of saying it's overrated, you can respect the value in Naruto and just leave it and move on. And that's the problem that I think that we have in anime, is that we don't try to see the value in it. If it does not please us, in every single way, like everyone else is getting pleased by these legendary well-written series or these well-written popular series, if it does not appeal to us like everyone else, it's considered overrated because it has to please me, it has to please the world. And if I was that one person that could not see the value in it, it's a shit show because I didn't see anything in it. And that's the problem. I got to the point where I'm just watching One Piece for the sake of watching it for entertainment value. But every time when I rewatch the show, it's just the same shit. Even in its current arc in Wano, which I have not seen, I'm far behind in that. But I don't have to keep up with One Piece because Crunchyroll, it recommends me shit from other shows. And every now and then I'll watch a One Piece video recommending me from Wano, from Crunchyroll. And I don't see a difference. I'll get recommended like a Nami and Ramen sexy bathtub scene, or it's a recommendation of Sanji fighting with Zoro, or Luffy being Luffy again, and it's just the same shit that I've seen in other arcs in One Piece. I'm not feeling like One Piece is something that I need to hurry up and catch on because it's the same thing. You don't have to watch a whole show to judge its formula. You can watch 500 episodes of One Piece and judge it. You can watch 333 episodes of Naruto, and that is enough material to judge it, to make your opinion. You don't have to watch the entire thing or catch up in the entire thing to make a short opinion on something. If like Hunter x Hunter, I dropped it at 117, I think, and that was enough episodes for me to judge it and say, I don't think this show is for me. I'm done. It's been almost 2 years since I dropped it, so instead of saying Hunter x Hunter is overrated, I respect the legacy of it. I respect that people feel like it's the best written shonen all the time. I can give you that respect, but at the end of the day, I don't care for its characters. I can give credit that Oda is great at world building and building up shit, and he's very great of giving great backstories to Straw Hat's characters. But at the end of the day, the same thing. After a while, after the backstories were given and we're going forward, exploring the world. The more you explore the world, the less I feel attached to the characters because I'm not really learning anything new in the characters. And that's a small criticism I would have to say about the character writing in One Piece, that no one really changes. No one really ever becomes a different person. But that's just not what Oda writes. He's not that kind of author that wants to change his characters, push his characters going forward. It's a world building series. So I can give credit that people say that One Piece is the best written of all time. But at the end of the day, you can't convince me to love the characters like you, because I am not you. You are you. You connect with the One Piece characters because you are you. I connect with the Naruto characters because I am me, because that's just how life is. We connect things differently. So depending how we say things are overrated, it's about personal experience. It's about seeing, even if you don't see the value in something, you can see why people at least love it and make your peace with it and move on. One of you guys said that Demon Slayer anime was overrated just because of how beautiful the animation is. And if it was given a Toei animation or Studio Period, people feel like Demon Slayer wouldn't have went off if it was handled by them. So if Demon Slayer is really considered with great value with animation rather than storytelling and character writing, then that becomes a problem. Because sometimes animation can blind us. Sometimes people like shows just because how good it looks, but the storytelling is not the best. So when it comes to Demon Slayer, if you personally connect with the characters on a personal level, and if you can get some ideology from them or some kind of analyzing shit from them, then you belong to the Demon Slayer show. That's where your heart belongs because you got something out of it. Me, personally, I didn't learn a damn thing from any of the characters. I didn't learn anything personally from them. So at the time, 2020, I probably said Demon Slayer was overrated. And in a way, yeah, I kind of still hold up to that opinion. But there's always value why it drove, the community the way it did. So it's really up to your decision to decide if Demon Slayer has great character writing or it's only driven by animation only. And without that animation, then you got to decide, is it really a good show or not? That's for you to decide. So there's always different reasons why we connect things differently, how things do hold up and how things don't hold up. And just because something is 20 years old does not matter. Anything can hold up if you can personally get something out of it. Some shows don't hold up because there was nothing to get out of it. And some things are just good because of animation. So it really depends what you mean by nostalgia argument, because when you use nostalgia argument, you're basically saying it's 20 to 15 years old or whatever the hell, it has no value in it. Today's animation is updated, we have this going on, this is selling much more than this other old generation show, and it's considered better because of this. Like, who cares if something is new and updated? If you do not care about the character writing in these new generation anime, then that is it, that's enough. And if you like something for nostalgia, so what? Maybe you just connect with the characters from that generation more than compared to today's generation with characters. It really depends who you are. But let me know. This is going to be a new thing I'm trying to do, a new series, a discussion videos. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are because like I said, guys, I really love Naruto. I really love Naruto because I love the characters. But if you personally watch Naruto today, and if you don't give a shit for the character writing in Naruto, then maybe Naruto is not for you. It's okay to move on. It's okay to, hate on the show if you hate it. But at least find reasons why we love Naruto. Same thing how I felt about One Piece. I can respect that people love One Piece of its world building and its well-accomplished chapters or whatever. Oda has been consistent for 20 years straight. I can understand that. But at the end of the day, I just don't feel attached to his characters. They're not built for me. I can't really connect with them or feel for them anymore. I know, but I understand that people love it more than any other battle shonen. But just because something is selling a lot in the manga industry or something is very fucking popular, it does not matter. If you don't care for those characters, if you don't connect with those characters, then just say, I made my peace with it and it's time to move on. But stop saying something is more popular than other things just because of sales. Sales arguments is still a thing, and it's fucking ridiculous. You gotta judge things of how the story is, not by the money numbers. But anyways, I'm Felix. Subscribe if you want, and stand your way and have a good night. Bye.